They say that a photo is worth 1,000 words. If that should be the case, then could you imagine what a video is worth? Hello everybody, and welcome to episode number 23 of the Game Pages podcast. My name is Quinn, and I am pleased to have you here, as usual. Episode number 23 features a young man who has videography at heart, the art of telling stories through videos. His name is Marlon St. Bryce, and I am pleased to share his story with you. Hello Marlon, how you doing, man?
Yo, I'm good, Quinn. What about you?
I'm great, man. I'm great. Happy to have you here.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for inviting me on. I really appreciate the fact that you have me here. And before we move
For sh-
even further, I just want to also say that I appreciate what you're doing from one creative to the next because I know you invited me on here, and the fact that you respect my work, I also want to show some appreciation for your work and say, keep up what you're doing.
I love that a lot, man. That means a lot to me. All right, so let's start from the very beginning. Tell the people about yourself.
Okay, so Marlon St. Bryce, born and raised in St. Lucia. What people primarily know me for, well, I hope that some people primarily know me for, would be my video production and my work. I'm a
Right,
videographer. And yeah, before I give away too much details and that I know we have to get into soon, yeah,
right.
that's the gist of it.
Okay, great, great. So you said that you are a videographer.
Yeah, that's
What
correct.
type of videos do you shoot?
I would say primarily what people know me for the most would probably be my events. But besides events, I also do a lot of corporate work. So whether it be stuff where uh, for example, like the interviews for different businesses or
Okay,
commercials, then yeah, that's the other side I spend a lot of time on. It may not be the most exciting side for social media, if I'm being honest with you. So, and that's why on
right.
social media, what tends to get the most traction would be the events and the parties because that's what the social media crowd may go after. But then if you go
Mhm.
to like my direct portfolio, then that's what the clients would see in terms of my corporate work.
Got you, got you. So is it that okay, one is more lucrative, or is just that one is more popular?
Actually, the events would be more popular, but corporate, I would say, would be more lucrative.
Ah, I
Yeah.
get you.
hmm I would actually say there's probably more events than corporate, but it's just that if I'm being frank and honest, the corporate checks would be the bigger checks compared to the events. So then, for example, you may
Okay.
work on one corporate project, and then in that project, you work on this one project for the next 2 to 3 weeks. And then with an event, an event occurs within a matter of a few hours. So that's one way to look at it. So the
Ah,
corporate would
okay.
be the one that's you know, your money maker. Let's put it that way.
All right, interesting. So let's go a little bit back in history. Tell me
Mhm.
where it all started for you.
Okay, so to be honest, that's something I can't even tell you, and I'll tell you why I can't tell you where it started because I think I did
Right.
not realize when it started. And what I mean by
Mm,
that is looking back at it, I think I was always the one behind the camera, not deliberately, but just throughout school, like whether we're taking pictures or something, so whether we just having fun, like just kicks off with whatever we're doing. I always end up being the one behind the camera. And I could think as
right.
far back as not just for the camera, but just in terms of the digital work, all the way when I was 12 is when I think I started using Photoshop. So yeah, I guess if you want to use that as a starting point, you could say 12. But I have a feeling it might have started before that. But my first memory recollection of actually getting into the more serious programs like Photoshop would have been when I was 12.
Interesting. So so why did you decide to take it seriously, like professionally then?
Okay, yeah. So, like I was saying, it's just a matter of that. I think it was a calling. That was something I was really good at. So it was easier for me to lean in towards that direction. Because if I am good at it, it's something I like, then why not make a career out of it? You know, that's the way how I saw it. It was just fitting. Like that's what came naturally for me.
Nice. And I think that's an important thing, eh? To follow your passion. I see that you followed something that you love.
Yeah, I
It's
agree.
important to follow something you love.
Right.
I love that. I love that. So what? Well, since you don't know when it started, I'm guessing that you do not know exactly how long you've been doing this, but maybe you could tell us when did you start doing it professionally?
Professionally, that's have been in 2015. So what happened was, by the time I was done at Alpha, soon after graduation, actually, by September 1st, I actually started working at DBS, and then I spent the next roughly 3 years working at DBS full time. Yeah, so that's where I leaned into the professional side of things after Alpha. So at the age of 19, I believe. Yeah.
Hmm. Got you. Got you. So tell me, well, I know you're an entrepreneur, right? Um, take me behind your business. First of all, what's the name of your business?
Okay, so right now, it's Unreal Media, and the reason I say right
Hmm.
now is because if just up to January of 2022, I was actually known as Pixel Video, but then
Hmm.
I rebranded. Maybe we can get into that in a bit to Unreal Media.
Yeah.
So yeah, this company is called Unreal Media, and we focus on video production primarily, but we also offer packages for photography and graphic design. Um, we also do motion graphics as well.
Interesting. Okay, so yes, let's get in the rebranding. Why did you choose to rebrand?
If I'm being 100% honest, it was actually because of legality reasons. As in, when I went to
Okay.
register the business, because I chose Pixel Video, and at that time I started the registration process, and the name was available. Um, Sadly, I never went through with that registration process. And when I started the registration process 1 year later, somehow they told me that Pixel Video is not available. As to why,
Mm.
I don't know. I'm not sure if there's a next Pixel Video in St. right now. If there is, I wish someone would, point me to show me who has Pixel Video right now, and I wish them the best with it.
Right.
But I actually really like the fact that it happened. It was a blessing in disguise because I think really and truly, I'm actually more comfortable with the name Unreal Media. And the fact that I feel like I went through the entire process of the registration and the setup, and then to the point where I'm printing T-shirts and everything like that, I feel like I gave it that more love and attention than when I had Pixel Video. And in doing so, I feel like it helps me push the brand even further than when I had Pixel Video. So yeah, I love Pixel Video. I appreciate what Pixel Video did for me, but right now Unreal Media, that yeah, that's my child right there.
I got you. Got you. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, I like what you say there a lot, And some people would have seen, your situation as a problem, but you change it into
Hmm.
something very meaningful. Because, sometimes we think that our original plan must be the plan that would go through, and most of the time it doesn't work out that way. And the rebranding is is sounds like it's better for you.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. In the moment, it was a bit frustrating because imagine, like, and the frustration would come from the extra steps, as in, the back and forth with the ministry. Okay, so this name isn't available. Okay, so, I'm going back and forth. And um, sad to say, but how the process can be when it comes to certain
Yes.
um, elements in Saint Lucia. To who's for not necessarily the people working there, but it's just that we have to accept that there's lots of things in Senegal. We have limited resources for limited manpower. So I'm not putting that blame on the staff or anything, or even the government per se. But it's just
Hmm.
sometimes we have to accept that that's the way things work down here. So yeah, that process was a bit frustrating, but like you said, I just use it to motivate me to go stronger on something else.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let for the people who are saying, why should I even consider professional photography or videography? I mean, I have a phone, it takes very good pictures. Maybe I can dabble in some editing software. I can
Hmm.
use filters.
Yeah.
Why should I seek professional photography or videography?
Okay, so for those people, what I would say is that they're actually right. They have a phone right now that would do a lot for them. And the
Hmm.
phone cameras keep getting better year after year. So I think they should use it. If you have a business, for example, get yourself out there on Instagram and stuff like that. It's not every day you may be able to, let's be honest, not every day you can afford to bring in someone like me to actually take those
Hmm.
professional videos or photos for you,
Right.
etc. And it's really important to keep up that social media engagement. So that's fine. Use your phone. But there's still the limitations in terms of what those phones can do and what that person can do. If they're willing to go the extra mile and teach themselves how to be at least an amateur photographer or something, then kudos to them. I'm
Hmm.
not mad at that because at the end of the day, they're running a business and business is all about profit. So, they're trying to increase their profit margins. It would be nice if they get
Right.
someone still a step up there, but let's face it, not everyone can afford it. So for those that can afford it now, I think it's important because that stuff really lives on. That's the second thing. Like, especially when I do events, what I tell people is, let me bring something to your attention. Let's say I'm at a wedding, I'm shooting a wedding. I'm going to ask you a question. What's going to last past the wedding day? Like, what's going to last forever? So what's going to last forever is your wedding rings and the photos and the videos you got. Nothing else from
Right.
your wedding day carries over. So you're spending all that money on catering, you're spending all that money on decorations, etc., for temporary happiness. That's only going to last for what? 8 hours? A wedding isn't even 8 hours. So
Right.
one thing that would actually truly last would be those photos and videos. I mean, like, and not just if it's preserved properly, like for your future generations and like whether that be through cloud storage or I don't know what direction technology is headed 30, 40 years from now. I don't know if we'll still be using the cloud or what else there will be or what form of storage there will be. But point is, as far as we can tell, with the current technology we have, those pictures and videos are not going anywhere. Yeah.
Facts. I agree with that 100%. And I love timeless content. And that's why I started Game Changers, because regardless of if I exist anymore, I mean, I
Hmm.
assume that I will die one day.
Yeah.
Game Changers content more or less can live past me. And what I'm hearing you saying there is exactly what I understand. Creating timeless content, creating that content that will live past you, and for a wedding as an example, could
Hmm.
probably live on to future generations. So I like that answer. That's an amazing answer.
Yeah, because the way I see it is there's the pros and cons of everything. Like some people say we put out too much on social media, etc. But I
Hmm.
do think it will be interesting that let's say if everything goes according to plan and the world is still here 300 years from now, it will be interesting
Right.
that our future great great grands, whatever they're gonna be, can look back and they can search for both you and I and they could see this interview we did. You know?
Yes. Yes.
Like
That's beautiful.
who's to say our future generational children like who they can be or what they're going to turn out to be. What if my future great grandson and your future great grandson turn out to be co-workers? Do you know how crazy it would be if they go back now, look on the internet and see this interview between us?
Right.
So yeah.
Right. And even if you don't think so far in the future, maybe look 10 years down the road, and then you can look back and see how much you've grown. Or, have you ever like read like old messages from a friend
Uh-huh.
or old
Right.
conversation that you had,
Hmm.
and you tell yourself, I used to really speak like that, you know?
It's
And
funny
then,
because let me bring up my phone and me show something. I actually hold on to that stuff, so I don't know if it will pick up on the camera. Let's see. But those
right,
messages
right,
right there,
right.
that's WhatsApp. And the lowest one right there is from 2014. Like I
Wow.
just archive everything, but I don't delete conversations. But my WhatsApp convos go all the way back to 2014. Yeah.
Right,
So damn, it's actually going to be 10 years because 2023. But yeah.
right, right, right. Yeah, but you can see how you've grown. You can see how far
Hmm.
you've come. I think that's a big thing.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. I hope you're enjoying the episode. This episode was made possible through a platform called Riverside FM. It's a platform that I've grown to love, and it really does justice to creators. Unlike Zoom or other platforms, it records content locally and then uploads it to the cloud so you have a seamless video. If you are a creator and looking to get into this space, this is the platform for you. Click the link down below to get started today. Have you gotten your official Game Changers merch yet? If not, what are you waiting for? Get yourself a hip, trendy t-shirt or hoodie that is sure to turn heads. T-shirts only cost $55 EC and hoodies go for $120 EC. Highlight your inner game changer. Get yours today. Want access to all things Game Changers? Here's what to do. Visit our website at www.changer758.myshopify.com. Get access to the latest podcasts. Check out our weekly chess moves. Get yourself some neat merch, and so much more. We look forward to seeing you. Log on today. All right, so moving on. I know you've done some large scale, almost, well, regional, but almost international work.
Hmm.
That's work outside of St. Lucia. Take
Right.
me behind that experience and who you did for.
Okay, so which one you're referring to right now? As of 2022, the ones I covered were Atlanta Carnival, Miami Carnival,
Okay, right?
Dominica Creole Fest. Um, I think, okay, you know what? I'm actually going to go straight to Dominica Creole Festival because it was the most successful one, I would personally say, from a personal standpoint. So
Got you.
for Creole Fest, the way it works is that uh, it was actually a collaboration between me and
Mm-hmm.
a station out over in St. Kitts and Nevis. And what we did was we got an invitation over to Dominica, and that was an invitation by the government. So what they do is they fly you in, they take care of you, etc., and then they want you to cover the festival because we were basically part of the social media influencer team as well as the main broadcast team. So that's the two elements. So I
Mm.
think my biggest focus when it comes to that team, there was a team of it was three Lucians. Two of them were part of my team, and then there were four Kititians. Yeah. So it was a team of seven of us in total. And we, the St. Lucians, are our biggest focus. Let me just mention the St. Lucians right now. That would be Giovanni Belize and Tyler Fiofan. The two of them were really amazing. I really appreciate what they did for me that time over in Dominica. But yeah, so we went over there. And the one thing I wanted to try, it's something I always wanted to do. And I finally got the chance to achieve it. It's not easy. It's not easy, but I wanted to put out those videos whilst the event was still happening, or if not whilst it's happening,
Ah,
at least within at least after 24 hours. So it's a bit crazy. Like the event will be going on, the artist will leave the stage, I would run backstage and start the editing process on my laptop right there. Or sometimes, like after the event, and the Dominicans know how to party. Let me say that from now. Dominicans know how to pet. So the music. When I in St. Lucia, I know our events finish at 2, 3 a.m. Nah, the Dominicans they finish at 5, 6 a.m. So when we got home
wow.
at that time, I would still be up editing, and then that I think I slept for like 3 or 4 hours over like a 48-hour span. Yeah, like I was just going on
Wow.
pure adrenaline at one point. Yeah. And that actually helped because the views I got on that, statistically, I personally have not seen any other account, even if we're being frank, even the official World Creole Festival account, I don't see any of them putting up the numbers that we're able to achieve. And I think the reason we're able to achieve those numbers is we're able to capture the momentum whilst everyone was still, you know, focused on that certain night. Because the way I see it, it doesn't I wouldn't say it wouldn't make sense to release your videos lower down the line, but it's just that
Mhm.
people are short attention spans and there's so much happening, especially in the social media
True.
world, that things change so quickly that you need to find a way to build that momentum within hours after that event has finished because that's what's on their mind. No one cares about night two when night three has already occurred. So, you have to try
Right.
to get that out there as fast as you can. Would it be nice to sit down there and do a more complex edit or something like that? Yeah. But you can probably do that for future promotions or when you're promoting the next event. But when it comes to the event that just occurred a few hours ago, I do believe it's important to get your work out there as soon as possible. You still give quality. I still tried my best to give the best quality and the best editing style. It's just that, you need to at least show the people what they are waiting for. Yeah.
I agree with that. So taking that new approach was beneficial to you, I'm hearing, because sometimes we are afraid to take that step, Marlon.
Mhm.
We're afraid to be innovative and try something different. And you achieved a lot by just doing that.
Right. Yeah,
That's a big
definitely,
thing.
because it even worked out for me in terms of engagement with bringing in new traction to my profile, etc. Because during that time period, um, that's the biggest growth I ever experienced in terms of new followers and views and stuff like that. And Giovanni, who I mentioned was with me over in Dominica, one of his primary focuses is that he does analytics when it comes to marketing and stuff like that. So he
Hmm.
was able to take a look at the the stats of what was happening, and he pointed out to me, because that's his job, that's what he does professionally. So he's telling me that the growth I'm experiencing there is actually above average. Like, the reason I can't say specifically like the numbers, like that's his thing. So but he was basically
Okay.
saying, for example, if your profile should be growing by, let's say, random number of 3%. Instead, mine was growing at about 6% in terms of when it comes to the ratio
Wow.
of views compared to new followers. Yeah. So I was actually really happy with the way that turned out.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I like that. Guys, listen, you were listening,
Mhm.
so take that step. Do the thing that's
Yeah.
scary, and you might get a reward.
Yeah, man. I agree.
I like that. All right, so we move into the chess move segment of the interview. This week's chess move is Still Like an Artist by Austin Kleon. I had to get a creative based book. this week because we have creatives here with us. And if you want
Mm-hmm.
to become a better creative, read the book Still Like an Artist. It will really help you become that creative that you want to become. All right. So let's move on to our quick hitters now. Now, Marlon, this segment of the interview is quick fire questions. So rapid
Mm-hmm.
fire questions. So
Yeah,
give your
let's do
answers
it.
as quick as possible. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So first question: give three quick camera tips the average person could use to improve their skills.
Okay, average person. So we're talking about cell phones. So number one, try
Yes.
to avoid zooming in when you're taking a picture unless you're switching between your cameras because it's always better
Mhm.
that you zoom in post. And okay, sorry, I made it too complicated there. So if you take a picture, you can always zoom in after if you wanted to crop or something like that. But if you crop the very first time you take the picture, then that's lost. So it's better to at least
Yes.
preserve the whole image, and afterwards, then you decide if you want to zoom in. That's tip number one. Uh, Tip number two, I would say try to avoid certain, if you're doing video, try to avoid too many sudden movements. That way, your video doesn't come out to shaky or stuff like that. So if you're taking a video, none of this. It's or you hold it in one place. So that's tip number two. And tip number
Mhm.
three, I would say don't be afraid to shoot. You have the phone, you spend all that big money on it. You wanted the iPhone 14 Pro Max as to why you wanted the iPhone 14 Pro Max. At least now try to justify it. Make the best use of your camera. You know, you have it in your pocket,
Yeah.
use it. Yeah.
Great. I like that. Lovely. Uh, So my next quick hitter question, and I ask all the young people this question when they come here: Apple or Android?
Apple, but for me personally, Apple, but I do appreciate what's happening on the Android end of things as well. It's just that, Apple have me trapped so deep in the ecosystem right now that it's it's difficult to get out because and that's what they're good at. They're good at actually holding you in there. So for example, like there's certain sites I don't even know my password for if I'm being honest with you because you use the autofill and that's actually exclusive. When I say exclusive, I mean at least the for the password side of things, Apple. I know it's also available on Android, but it's just that it's not like you can just jump across and it will just autofill the same way. So Apple really traps me into the system. But then besides the trap, I actually enjoy being here because just something as simple as when I finish with a project, being able to airdrop it to my phone. Um, or in terms of the camera interface on the iPhone. So, like as of right now, I do believe there's certain Android phones that where the cameras can compete photo-wise with the
Mhm.
iPhone. But for me personally, I don't think I've seen a single Android phone where the video quality is better than the iPhone. Arguably, there's
Right.
somewhere the photo quality is up there. You can say photo quality is better, but there's something Apple's doing different that I just really like how they handle the video from the iPhones. So yeah, for me, it will have to be Apple. I'm not one of those loyal Apple fanboys. I appreciate what's happening on the Android side, like I said. So if you have an
Right.
Android,
Right. Right.
most probably you have a really good phone in front of you. Right now, it's more about up to personal preference. I mean, phones have gotten so good recently that most likely whatever phone you have, you'll be happy with.
Great. I like that. And my final quick hitter question: who would you like to see on Game Changers?
I actually thought of that long in advance. So then I actually want to nominate Courtney Green. Um, the reason I'm nominating her is because she's an art student over in Canada, Halifax, and
Mhm.
she's just about to graduate. And actually, just last month, she put on an exhibition where she made some huge, amazing paintings, some amazing artwork. And all of it was, just centered around St. Lucian culture. So there's this painting of the guy with the banana sling over his shoulder. There's one of those guys playing
Wow.
dominoes. There's a next one of the kids at school, playing jump rope, I believe, or was it hopscotch? But anyway, point is, I think she does some amazing work. And yeah, I'd love to see her on it.
Lovely. So we get Courtney here,
Yeah, man,
and
that's
you have
only
to help
one
me
to be
get
a
her
problem.
here.
Yeah, yeah, no, trust me, it won't be an issue for me to help you get her here. She's actually my
Great,
girlfriend, if
great,
I'm being
great.
honest with you. Yeah,
Oh wow, oh wow. So
yeah. So I had
even
to
more
throw her in
reason
the
for her
ring.
to be
Yeah,
here.
exactly. So she'll be here real soon, trust me.
Right, great. I love that.
Mm,
Okay, so we're moving on to our final few questions. I know creatives like yourself are inspired by others. Who
hmm.
inspires you, Marlon?
Um, I don't know if I would say if there's any one person in particular that really inspire me, just because the fact that I take inspiration from the simplest of things, like whenever I'm watching. So sometimes it's just those various. I don't watch many movies. I watch a lot of TV series. So it's not all the
Mm-hmm.
time I get the chance to actually do a deep dive and see who the directors are, etc. But stuff like
Right.
that inspire me, or sometimes I'm just scrolling through social media that inspire me. Um, if there's someone I would say, or a certain group of people I would say that's probably my biggest inspiration, it would probably be the other Senushan creatives. And what I mean by that is, I think Senusha is blessed with some of the best in the Caribbean, or even not just
Agreed.
in the Caribbean, because I've seen Senushans put out work that actually competing at an international level. And the reason they inspire me is because I don't feel any jealousy towards them fellas. When Fresh, Shama, the Vision, Allen, or Vigil, or any of them fellas putting out good work, or ICAS. In fact, let me not mention anymore because some fellas will say I left them out. But when I see them
Right.
fellas putting out, when I say putting out such good work, it just actually makes me happy because I feel like there's so much room for everyone and there's so much room for growth that I shouldn't take it personal or feel any type of way that they're taking my bread or anything like that. Now they're actually just pushing me to do more. And they actually pushing St. Lucia forward because the more they push, the more Lucians get wary to the fact that we have some damn good talents down here. And they see the importance of the photography, the videography, etc. So those fellas would probably be my biggest inspiration to actually just keep pushing because they're the ones that actually make me better.
I love that. I love that. I was not
Yeah.
expecting that answer, but I love it
Hmm.
very much. That's a great answer.
Yeah, man. Uh, Yeah, because bro, like honestly, like one thing I want to say is like as I brought up the tips part is don't be selfish. And that's one thing I really, really want to emphasize because I'm young, but at the same time, I'm getting older and I want to be here forever. So I always like helping the next generation to come up with me. And I always like pulling up some my other people with me because you cannot do it alone. Like Marlon cannot be the one editing, shooting, everything like that. And then I still have to give off the knowledge that I know to help those other guys get better and to help me do it. So then, yeah, you bring up everyone else around you. You don't be selfish. That's the way how I see it.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Definitely. Pass on the information that you have.
Hmm.
I love that.
And the next thing is it's the young guys that always have the ideas. Um, people have said that before. I would take, let me put it this way. I would take advice maybe from someone older than me, etc. But when it comes to the fresh and new ideas, I prefer talking to the guys younger than me because just yesterday I was talking to this is actually Giovanni's brother, his younger brother
Hmm.
Gianni, and he's 17, 18. And he was just pointing out things to me and he was telling me, okay, but how comes you don't do this or that in Snapchat? I don't use Snapchat, etc. It's sad to say, but he was just showing me a few things in there. And I was like, yeah, he has a point. So I do believe you always have to for fresh ideas. I prefer if my fresh ideas come from the ones younger than me. I really appreciate them young fellas. Them fellas coming out of school, I'll take their ideas. I'll listen to what they have to say. Yeah.
I like that. I like that. Perspective is
Hmm.
everything.
Yeah.
Love that. All right, bro. How can people get in contact with you if they want,
Okay.
some work
So
done or they just want some information?
Yeah, so the primary sources would be on Instagram. You can get me at Marlon St. Bryce, just my name, Marlon
Hmm.
St. Bryce. And my websites would be unrealmediaslu.com. So you can get me at those two sources, and yeah, we can figure it out from there.
Great, great. So one sub shop basically.
Yeah, basically.
I like that. I like that. Okay, and my final question to you: what advice would you give somebody who wants to get into the industry just like you, who wants to become just like Marlon? What advice would you give that
my
person?
advice, my advice for them is don't put too much focus on what you don't have and try to work with what you have at the moment. So if what you have at the moment is your cell phone and your laptop, but your laptop may not be the most suited for editing, etc., still at least try to work with it. And as much as you may not be able to handle the intensive edit, still push it as much as you can because one day you will get the upgrade. And don't put too much emphasis on, oh, that guy's using this or that guy's using that, etc. Because actually I'll show you some insights right now. My most viewed video, and that is one of the videos from Dominica. It's currently, let's see, it's currently at 69.6K views. So round it off to 70,000 views.
Hmm.
And that's my
Wow.
most viewed, my most liked, my most shared, my most engaged video. And I will tell you something, that entire video was shot on an iPhone. And that was a professional video for a music festival, one of the main videos that came out. Just some insight. The reason I shot on the iPhone was because in that moment it started raining. It was raining real strong, so all cameras
Mm,
had to go away. No one anticipated for there to be so much rain, so it's not like anyone would have any weatherproof equipment at the time, etc. And also at that point in time, I think most of the media crew had shut down just because, like I said, Dominicans know how to fet. So it was like after 6 in the morning. So
I,
yeah. But then I was like, nah, like the vibes right now is too much for me to pass upon. So bring it back to your point. I shot that on my to your question. I shot that on my iPhone and watch the numbers it's doing right now. And most people to the untrained eye, they don't realize it's a shot on iPhone. So what I'm saying is that iPhone you have in your pocket, it can take you really far. So if you're trying to get to this point right here, then start off whatever you have with whatever you have, and naturally the growth will occur. Like it's only natural. Like trust me when I say the growth will happen, it will happen once you stay dedicated to it. So don't worry right now that your edits may not be at the same level as some other people. That's fine. People know you're just starting up, etc. And at the same time, still don't even think about those opinions too much. Just try to at least keep pushing yourself because at the end of the day, once you keep at something, naturally you will get better. Like it makes no sense for you to stay at the same place you were 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I thought I was putting out some really good work, and I still have confidence in that work I was putting out 2, 3 years ago. But when I look back at it now, I could say, damn, my work right now is better. So yeah,
improve.
naturally just keep pushing and you will get to that level. That's just the way business works as well. I mean, you may not start a business and just have all the equipment, all the money, all the finances you need at the time. I mean, some people are lucky because they may have financial aid or financial assistance from whoever it may be. But for those that
Mm,
are not as fortunate, just keep trying to push yourself, work with what you have, and yeah, you will get to the level you desire. I'm not even at the level I desire yet, and I'm still working hard. I'm just pushing myself. So there you go. Yeah.
love it. Love it. That is a perfect ending to the interview. That was really, really good. I like that. Marlon, and to thank you for coming. It's always amazing to hear how fellow creatives think. Even if I might ask you the same question I ask somebody else, you will always give me a totally different answer. So I love this interview. I think our listeners were impacted, and I ask you to continue the good work, please.
Yeah, not just me, you too as well, bro. Like I said, I really appreciate what you doing out there, and I wish you the best of it. Question though, before we wrap up the interview, let me just get to know a few more things about you. How you started in this, like what pushed you in this direction?
Ah, lovely, lovely. So the interviewer is
Yeah,
on the other hand now.
yeah, man.
Great. So it's basically, so I'm a business owner, right? I'm an entrepreneur. And I always realize that marketing of products, or at least initially, was always a difficult thing. I believe that marketing is basically the art of storytelling in order to sell your products, right? So I have given entrepreneurs and professionals, as well as providing information for somebody who wants to get to their level, or inspiration, I should say. And that was basically my thought process. That was basically it.
Cool, I got you. Yeah, that's great actually, because I do think we all need to push each other, like I say. So if you also check in for the young entrepreneurs out there, then that's wonderful, man. Like I said, I really appreciate the opportunity and for having me on your show, on your podcast, and I wish you the best in the upcoming in the new year. In I'm not sure when this will air, or if I should even say this, but yeah, I
Yes,
yeah, uh huh.
great.
But yeah, I do wish you the
Thank you
best in the
very much,
coming
bro.
months. Yeah, uh huh.
I appreciate it completely. Okay, guys, this has been another episode of Game Changers. Remember to like and subscribe. And also remember to follow us on Spotify. We are on Spotify and on Google Podcast. Until next time, as usual, stay hungry. Bye bye.